Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Ratchet Clank Tools of Destruction. I'm Nye.
I'm Mako, and we're going back to finish up a few more arena challenges.
Yep. Kind of surprised that we haven't finished these, to be honest with you. Let's see, what do I still have to work on? Toxic Swarmers is max. Doomblades, I guess, is the next one. Because they're only level 6. Just go ahead and hose this guy. But yeah, the arena challenges shouldn't be too terribly difficult. I'm not looking forward to the one with just the wrench. I'll be honest with you.
Well, as long as you don't try and do it on New Game... Oh, we're already on New Game Plus, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of the arena challenges. It's one of the ones we have to do, unfortunately. I mean, hopefully it'll be
helped, I suppose.
Hopefully it'll be easier than it was last time, is my hope. Okay, so out of that, Adjudicator's level 8. Wait, level 8's not max. Level 10's max. This is this game, not the last one. Somehow I forgot that we were on Tools of Destruction. I thought that we were on, like... I don't know, that's, is that Going Commando? No. Going Commando goes to level 5. Level 8 is, that's, Up Your Arsenal. It's level 8 max. So for some reason I thought this was Up Your Arsenal. Don't ask me how that happened. I don't know. I haven't a clue. We'll go ahead and take out these guys. Oh god, I hate this. I hate this, I hate this, hate this, hate, double hate. How the hell did he hit me still? He was a while away from me. Well, that's all of my buzzies.
I was going to say, well, it's very simple. You see, the game hates you and it wants you to suffer.
Yeah, that's nothing new. Okay, let's see. What do I still have to upgrade that I actually have purchased? Lightning Ravager, maybe. I guess we'll do Fusion Bomb for a while. Just run out of ammo on that because we both know it's not going anywhere. This weapon is so bad.
Can't be helped, I suppose.
No.
Again.
Well, let's see. That's maxed. Do I have anything else? Let's make a leech bomb this guy. Just get some of my health back. Do I have anything else to level up? No. Well, I mean,
yeah,
I do, and I don't. I mean, I have stuff like the claws that I could level up, but we're facing. Why is this not hitting him? We have bosses that we're facing. I don't think facing bosses with the claws is probably a particularly good idea. It's the claws and the lightning ravager are the two. Oh, come on. The claws and lightning ravager are the two that I still need to level up that I have available to level up. But the problem is that they're not, this is not the place to level that up. This is the place to level up this sort of gun. The problem is, this sort of gun is already maxed out because this is the place to level it up. Rhino, can you fix this, please? Kill this guy. Kill it. Kill it good. Please. Please. Thank you. We're not dealing with this. Go away. Challenge complete.
I say it's time for happy, fun, murdered, everything.
Yeah, I'm not dealing with that. You kidding me? I'm not dealing with these idiots. Vendor, buy all ammo. Go back. Okay, so this is the lethal gas round. This is a round that I could probably get away with using the Omega Shredder Claws, I think.
Probably. I can't remember what's specifically different about this version of it from, say, the other versions.
Well, apart from the fact that these guys are trying to kill me constantly. Oh, actually, this is a really good place to use these because they give you health. So even if you get hit, you have health to get you back up. This is actually a really good place to level these up. So I can live with that. And have you noticed how close to 2 million raritanium we are?
Yeah, we might actually be able to get that magic dancing globe.
I mean, it's not really going to help all that much, but let's see. What's
yeah.
It was lightning ravager. That was right.
I was gonna say, at this point, I think at this point, I'm seriously thinking it might be best to just sort of speed run it and shoot everything with it with magic globe, because at least then we can know that we get it each as we see them.
Yeah, I mean, that's... Guys, at this point, we're going to keep on trying to hope that we can get the, that we can get things going. But at this point, I think even I'm kind of the opinion that we're probably going to have to go and do a playthrough 3. So the current plan... Okay, this is just getting asinine. The current thing that we're planning to do is to do a, 3-episode playthrough 3. And by 3-episode, I don't mean that we're going to have even longer episodes than these ones. I mean that I'm planning on doing, 3x speed episodes, and we'll post-commentate or something, and we'll chipmunk the entire thing. Something like that, I don't know.
Hey, whatever is most entertaining.
Because really, I want to get to Kraken Time. I'm really just unable to wait for Kraken Time.
You still not sold on Quest for Booty?
Nope. I may do them eventually, but there are other games that I really badly want to play. And the thing is, Kraken Time is not the end, because I still need to do Into the Nexus after that. I think I'm going to skip Full Frontal Commando for the time being. Oh, no, Full Frontal Assault for the time being.
I was gonna say, if we're lucky, I might have actually finished Into the Nexus by the time you get there. So,
yeah. So I really want to do Into the Nexus. I've been dying to play that. The rule for myself. So Into the Nexus, at this point, at the time of recording, Into the Nexus has been out for about 10 months now. And
it's been that long?
Yeah, it was November.
Wow.
So it's been out for a good amount of months. And I told myself, because I had already, by the time Into the Nexus came out, I had already beaten Ratchet Clank 1, 2, and 3 for the channel. And so I told myself that I was going to do Into the Nexus, but that I had no intention of doing Into the Nexus until I had successfully finished Ratchet Clank Deadlocked. And the issue was that at the time, Deadlocked had apparently just came out, and I didn't know about it. So
there was some jiggery pokery with the release at the time, if I remember correctly.
So, Deadlocked had just come out. I did not know about this. So, something like 6 months went by after, 6 months went by after this decision, before Deadlocked even became a possibility. And then, in my Let's Play schedule, Deadlocked just wasn't an availability until, about a month ago. So, but I told myself I would successfully complete all the Ratchet & Clanks 100% or as close as possible. The main ones, the system ones, not the handheld ones, not the PS2 ones that came out after the PS3 ones, whatever the timing was.
Yeah, the PS2 ones were just basically upscales of the PSPs for the most part.
Yeah. So, I didn't want to... What am I doing?
This
one.
I was going to say this jackass again.
But yeah, I didn't want to do Into the Nexus until after I'd successfully done everything. Well, I'm successfully doing everything. So we're getting everything done. I 100% did. I went above and beyond on Deadlock. I went as far as humanly possible on Deadlock.
Oh, yes. You did everything on Exterminator. I do not know anyone else who has done that.
Yeah. So even I don't, and I've been asking.
Done that and retained their sanity.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. So, I'm sitting here dying to play Into the Nexus, and I'm still pretty far away from it, because I still have to beat, I gotta do Ratchet & Clank Kraken Time before I can even think about doing Into the Nexus. All for One is technically a thing, but All for One doesn't have online multiplayer, does it?
I do not know.
Because if it does, I'm gonna want to do that at some point, see if I can get some people to join in. If it doesn't, I'm probably going to give All for One a miss.
I was going to say, I would so be on that if it wasn't for the fact that I don't actually own All for One.
Is it that hard for you to get?
It's one of those things that never really got commonly available around here. It just
Believe
never
me,
was.
I'll find you one. But,
I just realized you've been walking past the same healing unit a couple times. I swear you've walked past a nano and you've never absorbed it. Which is sad, because you could really use it right about now.
Oh, what, this one? Right here?
Appears
to be bugged.
Yeah. Also, you've got 30 seconds, so...
Oh, do I? Oh. Well, right, this is the timed one. Okay. Go away, bitch.
I was going to say, now is a good time to just blow the hell out of him.
Yeah. I'll do that. We're getting a lot of money. Every one of these...
For which you get 1.3 million, so...
Oh, is it that little? It is that little. Oh.
1.5 million, and you have to take on 5 rounds of enemies, and Crushto, and everything else.
Well, this is the level up round. This is the time that you level everything up. Hey, you notice that his bombs were still in the arena, by the way? I love little funny glitches like that. They crack me up. But yeah, what's-his-name's bombs were still in the arena when I walked in. But yeah, so I really want to get done with this game, not because I don't love this game, I do, but I really, really, really want to get to the game that I've been dying to play for 10 months.
It is arguably one of, if not the best of the set, so...
Well, I'll argue that point when I get to it. We'll see what happens. Because, you know, Crack in Time is really good. But we're going to get there. But, so, that's the thing. I don't really feel like playing this through a third time. I've done my dues when it came to the play through a Ratchet Clank game over and over and over. I never showed it on the channel because of how long it took. But I went back and I did the Get 1 Million Bolts in Ratchet Clank 1 trophy. It took me 4.5 playthroughs.
Oh, Lord.
Each playthrough is roughly 5 hours or so. It's a pretty long playthrough. I could maybe speed run the playthrough, but that would have been, you know, to avoid the point. The point was to stay as long as possible and get as many bolts as possible. So, but yeah, so, you know, I did my dues on that. I had to play through, Up Your Arsenal, I think 2.5 times to get the 10 million bolts in that one. Because I believe it had to be 10 million bolts at one time, as opposed to Ratchet Clank 1, which was 10 million, or which was 1 million bolts across all possible playthroughs. So it was a bit different between the two of them. But, yes, I've done my dues when it comes to multiple playthroughs. So I don't really feel like doing it again, and this one's kind of one of the longer Ratchet & Clanks. So I kind of don't feel like playing through this a third time all that much, to be honest with you.
Perfectly fair. Well, I think it's perfectly fair.
Having sat with me through 2 of the playthroughs?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but,
I don't always have to have the patience to sit through a single playthrough. I don't know how you manage to do the ones you do.
Sheer bloody-mindedness. That's the answer I have for you. It's the only answer I have for you. It's not even a good answer, either. But,
could be worse. Could be worse.
Well, I mean, I think I showed my patience when I did Final Fantasy X, so...
and all that grinding.
And all that grinding. I'm trying to... well, I mean, I'm trying to think of... is there any other RPG I've done that has had that level of grinding in it? And I don't know if there has been, to be honest with you. Like, I'm honestly thinking to myself, Skies doesn't have that level of grinding. With Skies, basically by the time you reach the end, you're done. You don't really have to grind Skies. Got anything else I can level up? Not gonna life up. Okay, fine. Let's see. Evolution, you don't have to grind, because there's basically no point. Wow, he left quick.
Surprisingly, getting shot in the face tends to make people disagreeable.
Yeah. Let's see. See, I don't remember Tales of Symphonia all that much. Because I didn't do any of the... Tales has grinding, because Tales encourages you to play through a second time. It actually has an entire playthrough plus, like, setup.
I was going to say nowadays because of the grade point system, it really encourages multiple playthroughs.
Yeah, and they did that back in Tales of Symphonia, which is the only Tales I've played.
Yep, Tales Symphonia is when they released. I think. Please do not quote me on this because I haven't played all of them. Only the ones that have been available in English. I think Tales of Symphonia is where.
Oh, really?
Oh.
That's an instant death? Oh, really?
Well, no, that was lava. That was lava as opposed to the regular electricity it usually is.
I know, and that's what surprises me, because usually it's electricity. Like, I didn't even realize that was the edge of the map anyway, so we gotta redo that, unfortunately.
Right. Sorry, yeah, I think Symphonia is when they really started actually making use of the grade point system.
I think you're right. And I never was good at that either. But then again, last time I played when I played Tales of Symphonia, that was before the Great Metamorphosis, when I became a completionist player. That
They
was
also
back in the day when I didn't
changed.
care.
I was going to say each game has changed the way grade point works too. So
Yeah. I haven't played any of the other ones, surprisingly enough.
some of them are good, some of them are not so good. I would be a little less irritated about it. Like I like the Tales series, but there are some seriously glaring problems with them in a few cases, especially with the 360 one. Primarily, there's a long story about that one. We got Tales of Vesperia for the Xbox 360, and it was much needed. It was a very good, very solid RPG that was needed was received when the 360 really needed an RPG.
You're talking like the 360 has never not needed an RPG.
Well, yes,
or has ever not needed it.
It's
English.
needed. Yeah, it's always in need. It was always in need of a good RPG, but even when it came out, like it was in a particularly bad dry spell.
I mean, RPGs 360 do not go together.
And but the problem is that at that time, shortly after it came out, I think it was 4 or 5 months, we discovered that, and this was when Namco started doing this, which really cheesed people off, was that Namco really decided, hey, we're going to release this for the PS3. We're only going to do it in Japan, and we're going to add in all the director's cut stuff.
Yeah.
And that seriously cheesed off a lot of fans.
I'm trying to think. Ni no Kuni didn't at all require grinding unless you went for the end game stuff, which surprisingly enough I never. God damn it! Which surprisingly enough I never did. I need to. I really want to, because I've heard that you haven't even seen the true ending of the game until you do the final stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping. I haven't seen if. Last I checked, Namco Bandai doesn't seem to have any policies in place regarding Let's Plays, and they're the ones who have the rights to Ni no Kuni. I don't think I've seen anything regarding Level 5 either. So I really want to see if they have something, because I'd love to do Ni no Kuni. I think that would be a pretty enjoyable Let's Play. But Ni no Kuni wasn't particularly... Now, I'll tell you what kind of was Xenosaga kind of was. It wasn't grindy as in you had to grind for any particular thing, but it was grindy as in there was just a lot of combat. But I don't remember any optional bosses in Xenosaga. At all.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think now.
Number one.
The first one, yeah, I think there was for getting the... I'm almost certain there was at least one involved in getting all the bits for the Erd Kaiser, but that was about it.
Let's see. I didn't really go into Xenosaga 2, and I haven't played 3. Let's see.
That's actually a shame. I think 3 was actually the best gameplay-wise of the bunch.
So I've heard. I just,
not necessarily the best story-wise.
I'm really kind of a story completionist in a lot of ways, and I don't like playing through the story of a later game if I haven't played the previous game.
That's fair.
I heard that's not an issue with Xenosaga, especially because most people deny that Xenosaga 2 was ever made. But
2 is terrible for a great number of reasons.
It's just terrible in general. Let's not pretend that you have to reason it out. The game is bad. Believe me, I tried. I really tried to play 2, but at a certain point I went, this is not an RPG, and I quit.
And I remember not to fall off the platform this time.
Yeah.
No, but sorry, I think the original point we were starting at with was Tales.
Well, I think we were talking about really, truly grindy RPGs. And the point was, I don't think I've ever played an RPG that was as grindy as Final Fantasy X turned out to be.
Let me just look on my shelf and see if I can find anything that might come up.
I mean, I'm just thinking up stuff. Kingdom Hearts is not grindy at all. In fact, the game...
Unless you're insane enough to try and take on Sephiroth.
Yeah, I beat Sephiroth level... I forget what I beat him on. God, I'd have to go look, because it's been over a year since I've actually done Kingdom Hearts. But, I beat Sephiroth at fairly low levels. Sephiroth is more of a weapon and item preparation than he is a levels preparation, because having levels really doesn't matter.
Right,
now, Kingdom Hearts 2, it kind of changes, because you need to level up your forms.
Right.
But if you know what you're doing, yes, it's grindy as hell, but it's not too hard to level up forms.
Doesn't hard. It just you just.
It's not hard. It's just tedious.
It's just a little tedious.
I mean, getting 100% on gummy missions was the difficult thing when I did that playthrough. It wasn't.
Right. Okay, here's one that might qualify. Have you ever played any of the Nisa games? Anything by Nipponichi?
Yeah, of course.
Any of the Disgaea games?
Yeah. But those aren't. See, here's the thing, though. I've played Disgaea. I played 1, 2, 3, and... Well, I haven't played 2. I played 1, 3, and 4. Disgaea is not an inherently grindy game unless you want to do the additional content. That's the thing. If you don't want to go... You can beat the... you can beat the game without ever doing a reclassification, or whatever it's called. I forget what it is.
Reincarnation?
You can beat the game without ever reincarnating. You can get most of the decent classes without ever doing any of the, what is it? The insert your version of the Senate here. Oh, come on! This guy is such a pain in the ass.
Oy.
Yeah, I know.
Well, look at it as free weapons experience.
It is free experience. I was actually kind of worried that we weren't going to be able to get all the experience in a single playthrough. I'm still kind of worried.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm just trying to think.
You know, that's kind of an optional grind. And I guess we are talking about optional grinding, because I didn't have to grind that hard in Final Fantasy X to beat it.
That's true.
But in Disgaea, the grinding in that is for almost an entirely separate game. Like, there's the go beat the single-player storyline, and then there's the go do the item dungeons, go do the... Like, they're almost completely separate gameplay experiences.
For a moment there, I was actually going to suggest the .hat games, but then I realized because of the way the .hat games are designed, you don't really grind. You just end up being near level cap because of the way the game is structured.
Yeah, you can't level up too hard. Now, I will say one game that you do really grind that I never actually got that far into, Star Ocean Till the End of Time.
I want to like that game. I really do.
I liked it. I really did. I just never got far. I went back through the second playthrough in an attempt to do the like all of the beat this fast trophies.
Oh yes.
So I did do that, and I got a considerable way in. I love the storyline of the game. I love the twists in the game. The game is pretty fantastic.
It's pretty neat. It's
got some very neat stuff
for the time, at least.
Even for now, I think.
Even for now.
But the thing I just didn't. It was a very active game. It's not a game that when you're grinding you can just zone out and just grind and that's it. You have to really pay attention in that game when you're grinding. And
okay, yeah,
if I'm gonna be grinding for stuff like that, I really don't want to have to pay attention. Like when I was grinding in Final Fantasy X for all the shit I did in 10, when I did that grinding, typically I had YouTube on my computer, and I was only half paying attention because I could just spam the attack button for most fights, and that was it. You didn't really have to do much. Now, for the later game stuff, when I had to quick hit all the time, that became a bit of a bear. But I didn't really have to pay attention when I was grinding. I was just grinding. Same thing for Evolution, same thing for Skies, same thing for Golden Sun.
So since that reminds me, let me share a grinding
Golden
story.
Sun is a pretty grindy one if you want to fight against, what's his name? Dullahan.
Anyway, since we're talking grinding, let me share a grinding story of my own that actually came up just a little while ago. I have been replaying the last of the Hyperdimension Neptunia games.
Those are funny games.
They're funny. The last one is by far the best of the three, at least of the ones that we've gotten so far. Not counting the dancing game, because the dancing game didn't happen. But there is a particular mechanic to the last one that relies kind of heavily on a semi-random sort of thing. It's called the scout system. Okay. The idea is fairly straightforward. You have a bunch of scouts at your disposal. You pick a dungeon. You give them a wad of cash, and you say, "Hey, go poke around here for a few hours." Not real hours, fortunately, but the idea is
basically, it's Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles: My Life as a King.
Kinda, yeah. But time passes when you enter and exit a dungeon, so if you want to do stuff, you can just like pop in, pop out, pop in, pop out. Now, the problem is that when the scouts come back, they can do different things. They can say, hey, I found some items, I found some money, whatever. Or they can do things like, I found a way to make the enemies drop something different, or I found a way to change what enemies spawn in this area for a little while. This is really important because there are quests you can only do with specific enemies that are spawned by this thing. Problem is, the effect that you get is totally random, and you can't. There's no way to force any particular effect. So last night, I'm trying to get this one very specific quest done because you are ranked on quest completion at the end of every chapter.
Okay.
Get this one very specific quest done, and I spent 2 hours paying my guys the maximum amount of money that they could get, going in and out of a dungeon, looking at all of this, and getting absolutely dick all for what I was trying to actually do. Because the random number generator just would not throw up the spawn the rare enemy that I need.
Fun. I'm trying to think. I used to think I was really big into RPGs, and then I realized that I'm really not, for all intents and purposes.
Now, we've made our way to Creeley. There are some skill points here that you didn't get.
Right. I know one of them. So the one, what is it? Lombaxes are afraid of cold, or whatever it is.
You didn't get any of the skill points on this one.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do those.
Lombaxes don't like cold.
So I know that one. This is one that I should have known ahead of time. Lombaxes don't like cold, and this is gonna be such a pain in the ass. You have to break every single icicle with your wrench. Well, not with your wrench, but
speaking of wrench, you saw Saucy Wrench.
Yep.
You need to hit all of the cook pots with your wrench as well.
Right. Which is also going to be a pain because these guys have a habit of breaking them.
Excuse me.
But the problem is there's no... I guess I can use the bees because the bees tend to be pretty good about it. Okay, we gotta wait for these guys to finish doing their thing.
There is also a third skill point, which was the mow down, hoe down.
Oh crap, I already broke it.
Well, you can come back to that one.
Yeah, I can come back to that one.
Now, the other one you wanted was mow down, hoe down. That requires... Now, here's the thing. You have to get a bunch of... This is what I was talking about turrets when we first did this one. You have to make pirates dance with the Groovatron, and then shoot them and kill them with a turret. Or so says at least the skill points lookup that I've been using.
I mean, that sounds about right. We're gonna have to do Saucy Wrench afterwards. I think less enemies spawn the second time.
Yeah.
So I think we should be able to do that. Do I have... I know I have it, I just have to activate it, I guess. Let's see. Let's activate that. Okay, and do this nonsense. Let's see, I'm trying to think, what else? I mean, Oblivion was incredibly, grindy.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't say Oblivion is grindy so much as depending on how you approach it, you may have to min-max it. It's built more for min-maxing rather than grinding.
Yeah. Well, the Elder Scrolls games tend to be particularly grindy in their design, just because they make you want to grind. You know? Like, you want to grind when you play the Elder Scrolls games, because you want whatever that is that happens later on. Especially with Skyrim taking after the... I mean, the Fallout games, too. They're made by the same developer. But the Fallout games, too, in this regard... They make you want to grind, because as you move on up, as you level up whatever your skill is, you hit that... Oh, actually, I want to get off this thing. Let me off, damn it. They make you want to grind, because as you hit that next, tier of thing, you get whatever that next bonus is. And you always want that bonus, You want that, whatever that is. Let's,
You need to... You don't have to do it all at once, but you have to make sure that they're dancing, and you have to kill them while they're dancing with the turret.
Okay, well this sounds like a great... Oh. Can the turret actually point the guys I want to hit? Okay, wow, this turret is really not good. How many is it? 5?
10.
All at once? Or
throughout the course of the level. Not all at once.
Okay.
It doesn't, as I say, they have to be dancing, and you have to be killing them with the turret.
Is it in like one go, in one go of the level, or through multiple playthroughs of the level?
It just says use turrets to destroy 10 dancing pirates.
Okay, well the problem is, I gotta get back down there. Will this allow me to go back down? Yes, it... No, it won't. Okay.
I was gonna say try running the other way.
It won't let me. If you no matter what direction you press, you're always going the same direction.
Oh.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to find more Groovatrons. Yeah, you always want to get that next tier of whatever it is you have. So, that's always a thing in like the Skyrim and Fallout New Vegas. Not so much in the previous games. The previous games didn't have that. Level up this much and gain a new thing. But, specifically, Fallout and, Fallout New Vegas and Skyrim, once you hit level 25 in such a thing in Fallout, you got this bonus. And in Fallout, once you killed this many of this monster, you got this bonus. Once you leveled up your skill to this, you got this bonus. And that really, that's grinding encouraging, So I think that was always a thing. What else? I mean, there's definitely some RPGs that I've played in the past that have been particularly grindy. I'm just trying to think, because there's some, there are various old school RPGs that I just don't play anymore, that I don't even remember anymore, because I don't, I haven't played them in years. There's this really weird Final Fantasy one that I remember that I swear was like Final Fantasy 1 or something, but I barely remember it.
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, perhaps?
It was on the Game Boy, like the original one.
Okay.
But I can't remember what it is.
Was it an action-adventure style thing?
No, it was an RPG. Like, it was an actual RPG.
Final Fantasy Legend, probably, because there were 3 of those.
It was really weird. You're traveling to different planets, and different planets had different things for you to do. I don't know. It's been years. And I swear this is one that I've been wanting to go back again to see if it made any more sense after the fact. It was... It came out after Pokemon, and it was obviously an attempt to make, good on Pokemon's success. Something, the Demon Hunter. Hold on, let me try to remember the name of this game.
The Demon Hunter. Wait, would you...
Game Boy Original, or maybe Game Boy Color, but I think it was Game Boy Original. Came out after the, It came out after Pokemon. God, what is the name of this game? And it was really terrible. It was like this standard old school RPG style. So you had to, get your characters and level them up and get some skills. But if you had
Revelations the
Demon Slayer, that's it.
That was a very bad sort of attempt to cash in on the Shin Megami Tensei thing for the Game Boy.
And Pokemon, because the Pokemon things were very much there.
Well, to be fair, all of the SMT games do that because that's sort of their thing.
Yeah,
they were doing it well before Pokemon did it.
But God, that game was so terrible. But I've been tempted to go back and try it again to see if I could make heads or tails of its gameplay style. Because what it had you do, you had to befriend the demon in order to get it to work on your side, which, pretty standard thing, so that's understandable. But you could combine certain demons to make them into a different demon that may be more powerful.
Yeah, that's definitely a SMT game. Or for some strange reason, when they first tried bringing it out, they called it Revelations. Nobody knows why.
And it was very, very interesting. The problem was, there was just no rhyme or reason to what what would become what. So you'd be trying to make these combinations, capturing over and over and over, which was an ordeal in and of itself.
From what I remember of the SMT, they actually haven't changed the formula very long. There is a rhyme or reason, but you won't know it unless you've actually sort of done it before.
Yeah. Well, remember, I was a really young kid when I played that game.
It was based on type and sort of level at the time, if I remember correctly. I've not played that one specifically, so it could be completely different for all I know. They like doing that one weird.
Yeah, it's been years since I played that.
Leaning over, see which ones others might have that might qualify.
I've wanted to go back and try it again just for the sake of trying it.
Let's see.
Final Fantasy Tactics Advance was extremely grindy.
Oh god, yes.
Like when you talk about super grindy games, that is really high up there.
Atelier games aren't really grindy unless you absolutely positively must make everything.
Let's see.
Rogue Galaxy. My god, Rogue Galaxy is incredibly grindy.
I never got that far into it. I mean, I did and I didn't.
I love the hell out of Rogue Galaxy. Please, I will caveat that immediately. I love level 5 stuff. I love Dark Cloud and Dark Cloud 2 and Rogue Galaxy, but I'm not afraid to call a spade a spade. Rogue Galaxy was also really, really grindy.
I think I played a very long ways in Rogue Galaxy, really enjoyed it, never understood how the factory worked. Again, this was years and years and years ago, before I ever became a really big player of games. Never really figured out exactly how the factory worked, and I got to probably the penultimate area, is what it seemed like. I was very near the end. And I hit something that was extraordinarily hard, and I guess the allure of the game at that point had just faded into nothingness.
You know, I think I know exactly the point that you were at.
It was the village on the original planet, like it was the Oasis village.
The Oasis. Okay, no, that wasn't the one I was thinking of when you said that. There is a point on the very last end of the game before.
Well,
you
I said penultimate.
Penultimate. Well, I'm saying that because there are two places where people seem to really crash out if they're the sort of people who go all the way, go as far as they do. Two places they crash out. One is there. The other one is right near the end of the game where you're forced to do a couple of areas with each individual character. Mm. And some people will pick, they do that thing where they'll pick their favorite character and they'll level them up, but they'll ignore others.
Yeah, I've learned not to do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Anyway, you're going to need some ammo.
That's why I'm back here for the Groovatrons.
Mm-hmm. Let me think. So I'm just leaning over. I have a very large selection, so I can name a great deal of different possibles here.
I mean, to a certain extent, to give you the level of grindy with which I am willing to go, Pokemon. Now, a lot of people are going to sit there and go, "Nah, the hell are you thinking? Pokemon is not a grindy game." To which I respond to you, no, but it is if you are the type like I am and you intend to fill the Pokedex. And I did. On Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, I 100%ed the Pokedex. With the help of, I will admit to this, I did cheat a little bit. I did get a couple of friends to hack in the super legendaries that America would never get, like Darkrai. Mm-hmm. So I got their help for those, but for any Pokemon that you could legitimately get in America, I did get them. Myself, personally. I didn't trade for them, I didn't get someone else to get one for I went and got them myself. And that was extraordinarily grindy. And then, it took me forever. It was something like 300 or 400 hours. And then, on Pokemon X and Y, which I love the hell out of those games. Pokemon X, I think, is probably a contender for my favorite Pokemon game. But, on Pokemon X and Y, I went back, and I beat the game, obviously, because those games are really easy. But, after beating it, then I went and I filled up as much of the Pokedex as I could, prior to the Pokebank coming out. So I did that, and that was very grindy. That takes serious dedication to fill out the Pokedex in those games.
See, that's one of those weird things. Like I like Pokemon, but I can't stand it very much, which is kind of strange. But I'm the sort of person who can sit down and play through like a Nisa game with very little complaint.
Well, the thing I like about Pokemon is, one, it's a very simple RPG. And it is an RPG. Like, to anybody who wants to argue the point, and I swear I've had people try to argue Pokemon not being an RPG. I don't get where they're coming from. Well, Pokemon's a very simple RPG. It was one of my first. I got into it in Red and Blue when I was a very young kid. And my best friend got Red, I got Blue, and things happened as you might expect they happened. So it was a very fun time.
Pokemon reminded me of a game that I haven't heard about for a very long time. They did reasonably well, and then it bombed out horribly. Like it just never materialized into a high level product they wanted.
Monster Rancher?
I didn't like Monster Rancher.
Never tried it myself, but I kind of figured that's where that was going.
Robopon.
No clue.
It was a Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance game that tried to... Here's a good place to do your...
yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
That tried to cash in on the Pokemon craze. The gimmick was that instead of monsters, you had robots. And you didn't have to capture the robots, you had to collect batteries. And using these batteries would allow you to create new robots.
Okay.
There wasn't really anything all that complicated from there on.
Interesting. Yeah, let's see if we can kill a couple of these guys. Hopefully.
Got splash damage, which helps.
Yep. I got a couple of them, so I think we're sitting at about 8. Oh, whoops, crap. I think it's about 8 guys that we've gotten so far.
Probably. Let's see. What else would I recommend? See, if you're willing to do that with Pokemon, like there's only so much I can do that you won't have already done or survived.
And the thing is, there's some games I'm willing to play, and some games that I've reached a point where I'm saying, no, I know that's not worth my time.
Like, I have played through, and I'm kind of... I didn't have to grind, but I probably should have to make it less painful for me. Okage Shadow King, a game I sorely wish I could love more.
No.
I want... As I said, I want to like that game. I really do. It's just that it makes it so hard.
I tried to like it. I tried really hard to like it.
It has a really, really, really nice aesthetic, but aesthetic alone isn't going to save you.
What really killed me about Okage is the same thing that killed me about Final Fantasy VII. Actually, no, similar, not the same. In Okage, I was doing really well, and by really well, I meant I had played for more than half an hour. And got to a certain point where it was probably 10 minutes into the fact that you can actually battle at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd gotten 10 minutes into actual battling, and just found some standard enemy which had extremely swingy damage, and I died. And I went... Does the game seriously expect me to be able to damage this thing? Hit restart, went back, didn't die. So I thought, oh, okay, it must have been just a fluke. It got a critical hit on me, and that was about it. Turned around, went back, fought the exact same enemy again, and it killed me a second time.
Yeah, the damage in that game is really, really weird for a number of different reasons.
Let's see. I'll tell you one that was fairly grindy for no particular reason.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? Radiata Stories.
Radiata Stories. Again, a game I really wish I could love more, but it makes it so hard for me to like it.
I thought the game was absolutely fine. It was a great game, but it was the fact that you had very little control over what you were actually doing at any given time that really got to me.
Mm.
There you go.
Skill point acquired. Right. Yeah. It's just I like it. It had some really neat ideas, especially with so many recruitable characters.
God, I think it was trying to be, what is that? 108 stars or whatever it is.
That's Suikoden.
Suikoden.
Which we could also use another one off.
It was trying to be... Well, I've never played... yeah. It was trying to be Suikoden, I think, and what really got me about it is that there were so many characters, but so many of them, and by so many I mean 99% of them, were absolutely terrible, and you should never even bother using them after you get them.
I actually have the Radiata Stories, like, Prima Guide. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember where I got it. It wasn't full price. It was one of those cheapo sort of, I found it in the bookstore sort of things.
I mean, I still have the game. The game's sitting here. I picked it up back when GameStop was stopping doing PS2 games because I saw it was made by Tri-Ace, who's the same guys who made Star Ocean, and then because of the company, I gave it a go. And I will say I enjoyed it. However, I didn't play it to the actual, like, the terminus. I played it to a very specific point, which is apparently where the game actually gets good, from what I understand.
Right. It has a very, very slow start, which also doesn't help a lot of people.
Well, I got really far. Like, I got, there's a certain point where you choose a side.
Yeah.
That's as far as I got. And apparently that's where the game gets really good, and I just wasn't willing to give the game, really any quarter. I wasn't willing to work with it. Because, I mean, I tried, but I couldn't go any further. I just said to myself, well, you know, I gave this game all I could.
No, that's fair.
These days, I usually give a game maybe 2 or 3 hours before I give up on it. But that game, I gave a very long time before I said, you know what, this is just not working out.
Speaking of long time, I think we're going to be running long this time.
No, we're doing about an hour an episode for these playthrough 2 things.
Okay.
So we're doing pretty good.
Let me just see what else. I got a couple games that I can't say they're grindy because of the way they're structured, but I swear to God they felt like it.
Which ones?
Have you ever heard of Baroque?
Yep, never bothered with it. I own it. It's behind me somewhere.
Anything roguelike-ish is gonna feel like that unless it's done really well.
See, you'd think that Lomexes don't like cold. There we go. So I only have one more I have to get.
That's the Saucy Wrench.
Yeah. I heard about Baroque. I heard how it plays, and it just... I own it because I picked it up some time ago, and just...
It is undeniably stylish, but again, style doesn't necessarily... style on its own is not everything. It has quirks that I just can't quite... feign words.
Well, what I understood of Baroque... And one of the reasons why I just refuse to give it the time of day is that in order to progress in the game, you must get killed. But if you get killed, you lose everything, and you have to go earn it again.
Okay, here's the thing. There's multiple ways to progress in that game, and you're going to have to use all of them at one point or another. Even if you finish the game, you will still lose everything that you had on you because of the way the game is structured. The thing is, the idea is that there are ways to send items out of the tower so that you can use them on the next playthrough.
Yeah.
The thing is that the game does not make this very clear.
I mean, it's... Look, I like roguelikes.
Right.
I think it's very well known that I like roguelikes. That is not roguelike.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Every time you think that every time you play a roguelike, it's sort of you're doing the same thing again, right? Like
well,
you're
no.
starting.
I mean,
not the same thing again. Like, but you're starting from sort of scratch and getting farther every time, right?
I mean, yeah, but that's not what it sounds like Baroque is doing.
No, that's what most people don't quite twig to. Baroque. The thing about the playthroughs in Baroque is that every playthrough is serial. What happened win or lose, what happens next is it happens after whatever you just did.
Right. And it seems like the game wanted to be roguelike and also wants to not be roguelike and can't make up its goddamn mind, is what it sounds like.
It sounds very schizophrenic. Oddly enough, again, they do actually explain it, which is nice, and it makes a lot more sense once they do. but you have to play for a while to actually get the explanation.
And I don't know, I'm guilty of it, as just about I assume every game player is, especially about games that they like. But when it comes to a game, if you have to get to a certain point that's multiple hours into the game for the game's flaws to be overtaken by its charm, it feels like there's an issue there.
It has to have some very great charm.
I honestly, I'm not sure if I would say there's enough charm in the universe, to be honest with you. Like, it's... What's a really good example? I don't often give up on games. I typically will give a game the full measure, and especially lately, as I've become more and more savvy to how I want to play, and how I want to spend my money. It's a very rare game indeed that I will 100% give up on and never touch again. Most games I will actually go into again simply to see if there was any
trick you might have missed.
Not as much trick as if there was any justification to continuing. There's a lot of games that I've actually continued after the fact. I'm trying to think of a couple off the top of my head. I'm having some trouble thinking of some. But there were games that I continued after the fact because I thought, you know what, there was justification here. I think maybe one of them may have been Jak and Daxter 2, maybe. This was a much... So I beat Jak and Daxter 1 way back in the day. I think this may have been back when it first came out. Because I played Ratchet Clank back when it first came out. I remember how awesome Ratchet Clank 1 was. Do you remember the blueprint instructions they had?
Mm-hmm.
I remember that being the coolest thing back in the day.
Yeah.
But, so, I also played Jak and Daxter. I also played Sly Cooper. I played all three. And, well, this is interesting, watching the Zoni just kind of walk on air. That's kind of cute. Look at that. Okay, we'll just let them do their thing.
As I said, I like the Jak and Daxter games, but Jak and Daxter 2...
Well, it was Jak and Daxter 1, so I played it, as many people did, and Jak and Daxter 1 was interesting because that was one of the first games that I ever went for 100%. So, think about that. Have you 100%ed Jak and Daxter 1? Did you ever do that?
No, I did not.
Okay, so in Jak and Daxter 1, 100% wasn't terribly hard. It wasn't Banjo-Kazooie, to put it into perspective. It wasn't... because that was one of the games that it was kind of competing against in terms of, the games it was trying to beat was Banjo-Kazooie and Super Mario 64. Those were the games that it was going up against when it came to competition. But Jak and Daxter 1, it was a standard platformer. For those of you who don't know Jak and Daxter, if you like Ratchet Clank, I greatly recommend going to play Jak and Daxter.
They do actually have a trilogy set out now for that.
Not only do they have a trilogy set out, but you also got to understand that the guys who made Jak and Daxter and the guys who made Ratchet Clank were unofficial rivals. Jokingly. Like, not in a bad way. Because if you ever go back and play Ratchet Clank Up Your Arse... or Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal, and I want to say... I don't think Tools of Destruction did it. But Ratchet & Clank, Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal, and Deadlocked all had references to Jak and Daxter, had pictures of Jak and Daxter, and even had skins of Jak and Daxter. All of them. So it was very much a joking rivalry. The running joke was that Ratchet and Jak were actually, again, rivals from alternate universes. So, very much similar games. But Jak and Daxter 1 was very much a Mario or Crash Bandicoot style platformer. And that's all it was. There was some racing involved, very similar to the swoop bikes in Ratchet.
The PowerPoints.
Yeah. I'm trying to deal with these jerks. Very similar to the swoop bikes in Going Commando, I believe. Oh, right over here. So that was totally a thing, and it was very interesting. The 100% came from the fact that there were these red eggs that you had to find. I can't remember what the official names
Precursor
were.
orbs.
Precursor orbs, that's it. And you had to go find, there were, if I remember, it was either 101 or 151 or something like that.
Oh, more than that.
Was it more than that? I thought it was
There was just over 1,000 if I remember correctly. They were used as currency.
Are you sure? Because I'm talking about Ratchet 1 or Jack 1. I believe there was a very select amount of them because if I remember correctly. Either that or we're talking about two different things.
Okay, hang on. Let me just
because I believe there was
keep going on. I will look this up.
I believe there was a currency, but there was also the rare ones. And I think the currency was Jack 2.
50. Hate to break it to you, but I'm seeing great 2,000 precursor orbs in total.
In Jack 1?
Jack and Daxter, the precursor legacy.
Huh. I thought it was a lot fewer than that. But what happened was...
You're thinking of the power cells.
Am I thinking of the power cells?
Power cells were the power cells.
I'm talking about the collectible to get the secret ending. Was that the power cells?
The power cells were the jiggies. They were the moving along the storyline thing.
Okay.
Activating the moving things. Precursor orbs were. I think you probably needed them all for the for something, but how many orbs? Hang on.
Well, it must have been the jiggies then. It must have been the power cells. But was there 101 power cells then?
I'm just looking that up. Hang on. Sorry, I have to open up a new window every time I look these up. So give me a sec.
Well, while Mako looks that up, that was the first game that I ever really truly, as far as I remember, was one of the first games I ever really well and truly went and 100%ed. And I had to find all of the power cells. And I got to the end of my first playthrough, and I was missing like 6 of them.
101 power cells in the first game.
That's what it is. So 101 of those. So I was missing 6 of them, and I didn't realize to begin with there was 101 because it looked like there was 100 because there was this graphic at the end of the game, this little video that you went up to the door the power cells go into, and it would slot in all of your cells, and you'd see how many were remaining. I thought there was 100. Went searching everywhere to find all of them. Took me a couple hours. Finally found 101. At the end of Ratchet 1, all of a sudden, this gigantic twist happens that you only see if you got all of the cells. It was a very different thing at the time. And then Ratchet 2 came out, and Ratchet 2 was different. Ratchet 2 was a lot like... Or not Ratchet 2, Jack 2 was basically Ratchet and Clank. That's where they went with it.
It was a lot... Yeah, it was Ratchet and Clank, but it didn't have any of the whimsy, which...
No, it really didn't. It was a very dark game.
It went
incredibly so.
I was gonna say it went grimdark hard, and it didn't.
It really did. They went way grimdark with it.
That did not do them any favors, I don't think.
So, it has a really big fan following, so I don't think it cost them much. But it went from a third-person, platformer that was fairly whimsical, all of a sudden to this grimdark third-person platformer shooter, very much like Ratchet & Clank, but very grim. And it was really weird because I couldn't get into it. I left it for a number of years, eventually came back to it and beat it, and then went on to beat Jack 3. It ended up being a good game, but that was just one of those games that it took me years to get back to.
I have a few games like that, just because often when I pick up a game, I will suffer. I will get about 2/3 of the way through, and I will suffer catastrophic hard drive / console / memory card failure.
Sounds about right. I've been there.
Yeah, this is the same reason I've never finished Xenogears.
This is a reason we're gonna have to learn about next time. We'll see you guys a little bit later, folks. Ta-ta.